things, I was thinking about something. Actually, here, I want to get a little bit more direct of a connection. So I was listening to Spirit and some things that it was sharing, and some music that had come through at just that right timing, that it certainly wasn't as coincidental as it could have been. And I was thinking about things going on in my own timelines, and then things I hear about going on in others, and the ones I observe that are adjacent to mine or adjacent to others that I know. And I was thinking about all the synchronicities of things like the comet of chaos, right? Apophis, and the synchronicity of Osiris, and the probability of statistically improbable happenings, or as many people like to call them, miracles, right? Or even manifestations, right? And I don't know, something just felt like it was a good time to remind those of you who will happen across this message that it's funny to say it, all things are happening for the reasons that you want. Like, there are so many times, especially over the last couple of years, as a more intense kind of spiritual journey through things, that I've noticed that sometimes the faster way to get what we want means taking a whole lot of detours and forks in the road that we weren't expecting, that take us down paths that we weren't expecting and introduce us to people that we weren't expecting, right? And sometimes that fast forwards us to where we want to go. Then there are other things that, or manifest things that we want. And then there are other things, I don't want to say harder things, but bigger things that our hearts really deeply want. That, well, I don't want to say there's no shortcuts, but it's one of those you wouldn't want to take a shortcut. Like, there's some scenic routes that you just shouldn't miss. And the things that you learn along the way down them to what it is you want, it it helps you learn things that help you grow along the way, that make it so that by the time that you get to the light at the end of the tunnel, the fruit is ripe at just the right time, just that right moment to where when you put your hand up underneath it, you don't have to pull it, just comes away from the tree or the bush into your hand. And it doesn't melt because it's not overripe, it's ready. It's just ready, you know? And then there's that card. I don't have the deck, but I've listened to other readers use it a lot, and and I've heard my favorite reader, my personal reader, say it a lot, which is, through turmoil, a blessing will be revealed. And another message that's come through is kind of this, like, I guess it's like you don't trust, and it's kind of a reflection of something that I've said to others, but in a different way. And it's kind of one of those, like, there's many flavors to many of the reasons why we don't trust many things. Could be other people, systems, situations, organizations, things like that. And, like, sometimes you got to find a way to trust. You got to, not to force yourself to trust, but to, like, start to play with it. I feel like that's one of those when you know kind of thing. Like playfulness is one of the most powerful energies in the world, especially when you're really, like, when it's not from a manipulative place, when it's from a joy place, when it's from almost a place of innocence in a way. And it's important to recognize sometimes, like, okay, I don't trust for this reason or that reason, or there's been this pattern and string of consistent reasons why I don't trust. Though the more that we focus on those reasons, the more that we concrete our reality in those patterns. It's kind of like if you planted a seed and then you kept putting a cup over where you planted the seed so that it never got any light, and then you wonder why it doesn't grow. Well, what if you remove the light? What if you play with the times that you put the cup on and take the cup off? Like, you're going to get different results. And although that may not be a perfect metaphor, it's one of those, if you keep the cup over the seed, you're never going to grow anything. Whereas you take the cup off, it might not grow anyways, or it might grow. It might grow funny. It might grow brilliantly. It might grow brilliantly in a way you didn't expect it to. It might grow as expected and then suddenly change. You just don't know, but you can't experience it or feel it if you're not even willing to take the cup off and give it a chance to grow in the first place, right? And I feel like many of you who are going to listen to this will get it. Like, there's certain things ahead to where you may be perfectly justified and righteous and totally have validation for not trusting, for having faith in the negative, for saying, nope, that person's going to screw it up, or that one's going to hurt me, or I'm going to get hurt if I think this way, or if I leap before I look, there won't be a net and I'll fall. Though maybe just try to play with the idea that that's not going to happen. And maybe go into it from a space of like, look at what all you've been through. It's not going to kill you. You're not going to melt if you end up being right. But you're never going to know if this could be that time, or if something better could come if you were to let yourself be in that space of faith. Like, maybe what you want, maybe the ripe fruit that you want isn't ready to be ripe yet, but maybe in being in a space as if it was, you give it a chance to get there, or to get there a little sooner, or to pop up a few new and fun lessons and side quests along the scenic route that you've been taking to get there. You never really know.